Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video I want to show you how you can make irregularly shaped buildings using everyday and unusual letter forms. So let's start off by taking a look at the window Glyphs panel. The Glyphs panel shows us all the different characters associated for a particular font. And in order for this technique to work, you want to pick a font that's somewhat chunky. So I've got a font called This Man, This Monster. It's a pretty thick font, so and ideally you'll want to have something that has, the sans serif that also has some interesting letter forms. So I'm looking at the letter forms that are a little bit unusual, that are not just the standard alphabet. So I'll just kind of scrub through here, and I'll pick this AE. And what I can do is I can use my type tool, click, delete, and then double click, and I've got this letter form here. So what I can do now is I can just scale this up, and let's add another letter form here. I'll pick something that's a little bit unusual, maybe this D. Okay, so this is if we're going to use these shapes to create the tops of our building. So what I'll do now is I can rasterize that layer. So right click, choose rasterize type. I can hit the transform tool and then choose perspective. And then I'm going to create a 1-point perspective drawing here. So what I'll do is I'll just scale this bottom line out so we create a vanishing point towards the middle. I can pull these things in. And if I wanted to, with the transform tool, I can hold down shift just so I can keep everything within view. So I'll just move this in, and I'll just scale the whole thing down just so we can see it. So we basically have a structure that they look like letters, but they have these interesting, unusual shapes. So what I can do now is I can apply a vanishing point down below. And I'll just create a brand new layer above what I currently have. And I'm going to use my head stylus tool, and I'm going to choose perspective. And when you do that, you get this vanishing point here that appears at the bottom. And what you can do is you can just position this to where it lands on one of the edges here. And maybe what I'll do is the more extreme you want your vanishing point, the closer you're going to place it up towards the top here. This would be a really distorted type of building, and that might be kind of cool too, so we might try that. Let's just go ahead and move the vanishing point up there, and if I zoom in, you'll notice that vanishing point does move. I don't want to make this video too small to where you can't see it, so I think I'll just keep my vanishing point right there. And what you can do then is draw lines that will converge towards that vanishing point. And with head stylus, it's a little bit tricky in that it's trying to kind of do some math to compute those angles, so I have to keep hitting undo, but you'll get the hang of it. You have to kind of lead the line to where it's not going to be totally straight. We'll try to snap the lines either horizontally or vertically like it's doing right now, but if I go a little bit slow, I can lead it like so. And then don't forget these little interior shapes here too. And then same thing over here, pull this down. And again, head stylus is a free program. Well, no, I'm sorry, it's not a free program. It is, but it's worth its weight in gold. It's not free, but there are programs that are very similar to it. Lazy Nezumi is one on Windows. This is a Mac program, but you can find something comparable, and I'll put links to both on the description for this particular page. So now I've established the basic form. I've got like a three-dimensional kind of a relief of what's going on over here. So now what I can do is I'm just going to make a brand new layer, and I'm just going to create a set of horizontal lines. And I know that this has got some curvature to it. I'm going to deal with that momentarily. But what I'll do first before I do that is just go back, use my straight line tool, and just rotate this guy up to where it's going to be parallel. You can use, if you don't have tools like this, that's fine. But they're very helpful to keep around. So I think they're well worth its weight in gold, especially if you're doing any kind of perspective work. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a set of lines that kind of ascribe to windows, and I'm just going to vary these lines so that they're not all cookie cutter. And as we get further away, these lines appear to get closer and smaller. And I'm not going to do too much there, but just so that you have an idea. And of course, these lines over here, if you're going to create windows and so forth, you'll want to create some additional rays, and then you can use your ruler to go ahead and connect those points. But I'm just showing you the basic technique here. So once we have that in place, here's another really helpful tool here too. This is another snap tool. Actually, I think what I'll just do is I'll just create this dot right here, create this point, try to line it up as close as I can. And with this, I can just create some, all I'm doing here is just shifting my cursor. And this makes a lot of short work from having to do a lot of really insane perspective. I'll just go ahead and create a couple of lines over here. And it's not perfect. Notice that with this, I have to just kind of make some subtle changes. It's not really that big of a deal. It's going to look believable. Obviously, someone who's analyzing this as far as it's not going to be used to actually build this material, building. It's basically, I'm just trying to make something look like it kind of matches. So now that I've got this in place here, how do I handle these curves? Well, I'm making a brand new layer, and I'll just go ahead and draw a curved segment like so. And I'll just simply hit Command J to duplicate and move this down into position. Just helps me a little bit. And now I can just merge those layers by hitting Command E. And as you go through this process of putting things together, what we've done here is we've created this unusual shape. Now the question is, well, what do I do about the top part here, because that's just one solid shape? Well, if I hit the Command key on Mac or Control on Windows and I click on a layer, it makes a selection. And now what I'll do is I'll make a brand new layer. I'll go up to Edit. I'll choose Stroke. And I will make it the same color, and I'll give it, say, about a 5-point stroke. And I'll choose, doesn't really matter, I can choose outside in this case, and click OK, and then hide my layer. So now I've got a pencil, an outline around the letters. And if you do these buildings well enough and you render them out, the letters may not be so obvious. But let's just say it's like the Fantastic Four building or something along those lines. You can make it pretty obvious. So if you carry this technique forward, maybe as you look at this thumbnail, you can see how this thing actually develops. That's the tip. Check out window glyphs and take a look at some of the unusual shapes and characters. You can use this to make buildings, you can use it to make vehicles, all sorts of really cool stuff without having to necessarily think it up in your head. So take a look at some of the unusual characters that are in the glyph section, and I think you'll have some fun with it. So I hope you found this tip to be useful. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the tips and what you'd like to see me do next. I do appreciate the feedback. I'm trying to get up to 500 subscribers. If you find value in this video, please just hit like and tell a pal. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.